Hello, in this video we'll see the components of government budget, revenue budget and capital budget. Revenue budget deals with the revenue aspect of the government budget, revenue receipts and revenue expenditure. Capital budget deals with the capital aspect of the government budget, which consists of capital receipts and capital expenditure. What are revenue receipts? They are the receipts which neither create liability nor cause any reduction in assets of the government. That is what revenue receipts. For example, you find taxes. The taxes, you find it happens regularly. It's recurring in nature. Government receives the taxes in its normal course of activities, and it is collected by the government from the people, and they do not create any liability. If a government borrows money, it is not a revenue receipt because it creates or it increases the liability in terms of repayment. So tax is not repaid. Tax, the amount is spent on people. So it does not create any liability nor reduces assets. So you find under taxes, you have direct taxes and indirect taxes. So what are direct taxes? They are imposed on property and income of individuals and companies and are paid directly by them to the government. And the burden of the tax cannot be shifted to other person. The same person has to pay the tax. They directly affect the income level and purchasing power of the people and help to change the level of aggregate demand. So when tax is more, their savings will become less, consumption becomes less. So that is what meant by change in the level of aggregate demand, and they are progressive in nature, and it covers limited sections of the people. No, so the people, those who have property, those who have income more than the ceiling fixed by the government, they only pay taxes, the income tax, the capital tax, the wealth tax to the government. So that is what meant by limited reach. Indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are levied on goods and services. Here the burden is shifted. For example, if you take GST, goods and service taxes, levied on sellers, but when he sells goods to the people, the buyer takes the burden because buyer pays the GST. So buyer takes the burden of paying the tax. So this is what meant by burden can be shifted. But the next one, proportional in nature. So it is according to the amount you spend or according to the amount you consume, the value of money. So according to that, the tax is levied. So that is what proportional in nature, and it covers large sections of the society. So that is what meant by wide coverage. Then non-tax revenue. Non-tax revenue, you can see here the features of direct taxes. Here you find the indirect taxes. Here the non-tax revenue. So first one, interest. The government receives interest on loans given by the state governments, union territories. That is, central government gives loans to state governments, union territories, private enterprise and public. So the interest is received from them. So that is a source of non-tax revenue. Then government earns profits through public sector undertaking. For example, LIC, BHEL. So it earns profit from the sale proceeds of the products of public enterprises. The government gets dividends from the investments in other companies. Then you find fees. What kind of fees? Court fees, registration fees, import fees are examples of fees. So you find government earns money through those fees. These fees are used for providing services to the public. The next one, license fee. It's a payment charged by the government to grant permission for something. It can right from running vehicle on the road, for anything, for running the business. For all this you have to get license. Next, fines and penalties. So these the payments are made by they are actually imposed on lawbreakers. So if they violate the rules, if they do not pay the tax, so fines are collected from them. So this is to maintain law and order. So that is another source of non-tax revenue. Then a claim of government on the property of person who dies without leaving will. Gifts and grants. The government receives gifts and grants from foreign government and international organizations. Sometimes individuals